I have now removed the silencer, if you want to call it like that. I had to wait forever and 3 years because it was still a bit warm.
Soll ich's wirklich machen oder lass ich's lieber sein? Jein. Soll ich's wirklich machen oder lass ich's lieber sein?
Morning from Algeria. Greeting to the girls, hello to the boys. After yesterday's ride turned out to be absolutely problem-free, I thought to myself, these days you have to be online, SIM card. To do that, however, I had to ride 40 kilometers to Patna, where I first looked for my room using the entries of OpenStreetMap. While I was doing that, a nice young Algerian man apparently watched me. He then asked me what I was doing. I explained it to him. He said he would go with me to get a SIM card. We drove to 3 mobile phone shops. After a bit of hassle, I finally got one. You have to show your passport, and the person who issues it had to fill out some paperwork. That's how it is in Algeria. And before I realized what was happening, the nice Algerian man paid for the SIM card, putting down, 2,000 dinars, got something back, 100 gigabyte, and was already gone. I told him 3-4 times, that's not possible. But he wouldn't be dissuaded for paying my SIM card. How crazy is that? I mean, where else in our beautiful Europe, which is so great and progressive, would you pay for a tourist SIM card? I mean, I don't think I would do it either. Let's be honest. Anyway, so I'm sitting outside with the SIM card, still looking for a hotel, when suddenly a nice Algerian man walked by. Women are relatively excluded, by that way. And simply gives me a full 1.5 liter bottle of water and continues on his way. Again, crazy, yes. The bad or adventurous part was then finding a room or hotel that was somehow acceptable to me. Long story short, at 1:30 I was in bed. Accordingly, I got late today. Yes, now I'm on my way back to the route, and I'm leaving out a bit of what I had planned. Otherwise, I would have to take a really nasty detour. Now the route back to the trail is a bit more direct, and I don't think I'm really missing out on any, especially since it gives me something new to discover next time. Off-road vehicle from New York. I'm not sure if that's actually the case, or if it's an Algerian number plate that's just designed in a fun way. But they do have yellow number plates with black lettering, like they used to have in France. This is happening right now at an altitude of 900 meters. It's really pleasantly warm. It's now autumn, September, which makes it a little easier to gawk. I rode back to the village to fill up with just under 11 liters for 500 dinars, because otherwise I wouldn't have any money left for anything else. I now have 400 dinars left and hope that I'll find someone somewhere who wants to exchange euros for the local currency. Now I'm coming from this side, just rolling along comfortably. There's a small stream there. The rear wheel bounced a little. Suddenly, the Italian Sunday horn doesn't want to play anymore. The bracket has broken off. Unfortunately, yes. The Italian exhaust is just very tight, always being close to the tire, the motos. And this time it obviously didn't like being touched. Now, of course, I have to come up with something again, and so this day will definitely continue with an adventure, or rather, it's already adventurous. I have now removed the silencer, if you want to call it like that. I had to wait forever and 3 years because it was still a bit warm. And the manifold, that connection manifold, I've now turned it out a bit more because it's running like so and back. And I hope that I'll have a bit more space at the back to get the silencer back on. If not, then we'll just ride without it. I've now mounted it upside down with the clamp as far back as possible. Then, of course, I always have a nice piece of 1.5 square copper wire with me. And then I took the liberty of using the first cable tie. Yes, I hope that will do it. So, the exhaust is back on. I don't want to say fixed. It is fixed, but the catch is that someone at GPR obviously did it without ever really screwing it on and checking whether it fits. That's often the case. You know this especially if you used to buy Italian Madness for Vespas, which basically never really fit. Reworking was always necessary. Or I'll just continue riding without an exhaust at some point. Now we will test it. I will try to finish the next 90 kilometers of the trail. It's already almost 5 o'clock local time. But it would be nice to ride a little more. We've only covered about 15 kilometers of terrain so far. That's not exactly exhilarating. Yes, I hope that's it for now, with any stops in between. That's the reward for tinkering with the exhaust. It's a really amazing area visually. Well, at least for me. Someone else might like snow and winter. Someone else might prefer the leafy forest that we have in our area. Yet another might prefer the tropics or something similar. But for me, riding a moped, it's pretty cool. Yes, now we have a dead end for the first time because the water has swept everything away. And maybe you can help yourself a little by laying down a few more stones and then thundering over them at full throttle and speed. But but I think that's too tricky for me because well, here we go. I can't get any further on my own. Yes, I could build a ramp and jump over it at full speed, but I don't think that's quite what the inventor had in mind. Yeah, as someone who is not familiar with this area, there was the dead end where I would continue, but it looks really difficult to find a way through there. If it goes down too far there, it's over. I can still trudge along for a bit. Put the back mule down somewhere again and trudge on. It would be a shame if... Whoa, the pack mule almost fell over again. Yes, luckily it's not a heavy moped, so I still had the chance to catch it. Another one is He-Man. He can manage it with a different, heavier machine. But a Turo is enough for me. Yeah, there is a goat path there. It just gets a bit trickier there, but nowhere near as impassable as the dead end earlier. And that's where it goes up. However, it's from the arrow to the yellow line, crow flies 120 meters. And you just don't know if it will ever come together again or not. Maybe there, maybe not. It's 300 meters at the crow flies. Now the question is, can it all go again? It's not a 1300cc adventure bike, but only an official 249cc. And then it goes down again. Am I doing it? Yes, no. You can see it a few houses back here anyway. That should be the Metchapachit and the other Metachapchits. And it's actually not really far. 60 meters. There should be a path again. It's just rocks and rubbles and light martial gear. Well, what should I do? I can wobble down there somehow. Of course, that's not the problem. But I think I have to find the path first. Then I can think about it on the way back. Lo and behold, a path. But seriously, going through all that loose stuff, I'm not sure if it actually makes sense. It just runs over there and comes out somewhere else. I have no idea. Yeah, as I said, I can think about it on the way back. The advantage of searching this way is that you get a bit of fitness training at the same time, because you don't really move much when riding a moped off-road. And so I'm now finally sweating. That wasn't the case before. Good. So that would be the task, shortly before 6, because I actually wanted to stop at 6 today to get the whole thing on a reasonable track. The catch is that I'm already stumbling over the bushes there. And the next catch is that the descent isn't so easy either. Not there, but on the path I have taken so far. But we're there anyway. So we just have to ride around the outside and see if the path goes back up there and then continues. But I'll leave that for now. I'll stop there and just ride around the outside. Maybe it will work next time. Maybe they'll have repaired it by then. I've now made an even smarter decision. Namely, I'm going to maneuver myself to a slightly flatter spot somewhere in the vicinity and fire up the camping stove. It's quiet there, I'm pretty much out of the way, and I'll still ride out tomorrow. Because starting from scratch and tough adventure riding right away isn't really the healthy way to go. Something is bound to go wrong. Ergo, I'm supposedly riding around it, but we'll see what really happens tomorrow morning. A little bit more of the surrounding to finish up. Today was a pretty short day of riding, with maybe 50 kilometers, 40-50 kilometers road riding, and the rest of my planned 100 kilometers off-road. went pretty much down the drain. I guess that was maybe 20 kilometers. Know whether it's all going to be grinding along on a 60 or 70 kilometers per hour dirt road or trudging along at 10 or 15 kilometers per hour over hill and dale, wishing you had a really light moped, weighing maybe 105 kilos, no luggage, orange, light blue, there's nothing. Oh yes, TM, I think it's light blue. Or dark blue, green, red. Is there anything in yellow that's suitable? So 100 kilos is a bit plus or minus 5. I can't think of any right now. Me again? Okay, good night and greetings to the girls. Hello to the boys.